Welcome back to the Be a Man podcast, where we encourage men to be better men. I appreciate you being with me today. Tonight, whenever you're listening, I love the opportunity to chat with you, and I don't take it lightly that you tune in. And I have been looking forward to this podcast. I have been crazy busy. We have been recording several new episodes with some guests that I think you're really going to like. One man, he's going to Maui here in a few weeks to help with the cleanup efforts. I've got another guy I talked to today from the UK, from South Wales. I think you're really going to enjoy that conversation about fatherhood and some essentials there. I've got some others coming up. One with my buddy Donovan from Call to Act podcast. I think you're going to love that one as well, where we get into the creative side of things and the need to see creativity in the church today and just in life in general, just being more creative and using our gifts and abilities to the glory of God. And I think you're really going to enjoy that episode as well. I've got another one with Joel about he's a marriage counselor, coach type individual that I think you're going to enjoy that one as well. I've got several more lined up that I think you're going to like. I've got one coming out next week. I can't remember. That one maybe with a pastor named Michael Foster, who's written a book about manhood and becoming a man, and some other ones. One from Manlyhood that I think you can find online on Twitter, Instagram, you name it. He's there with Josh. And there's several more coming up. I think you're really going to enjoy them, but we've been busy recording those. I tell them that I have these blocks of windows where I can record a lot before things start getting busy again with high school sports and different things that I'm involved in, and the holidays coming up, and just different day-to-day work activities, things like that that are necessary. And I thank you for your patience. I thank you for your kindness. I thank you for your encouragement. I don't take it lightly. I appreciate it very much so. And if you'd like to come on, if you've been thinking about it, just shoot me a message on Instagram, on Twitter, leave it in the comments here, wherever you want to. I'll see it and it'll pop up and I can get to it. Make sure that you follow on Instagram, Twitter. I'm on Getter. I'm on, it's not Twitter anymore, is it? It's X or whatever you want to call it. Listen on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on several others. There was an issue with Spotify. I hope that doesn't continue to be an issue, but hopefully that gets resolved soon. Let's see. TikTok, I'm on there as well. Go ahead, go over there, check out some of those videos. I'm hoping to start doing some daily, just maybe not daily, but weekly, just a little chats as I'm outside hiking or working, or just sharing some things as I'm thinking about them during the week. I think you guys might enjoy that. I don't know. We'll see whenever I start doing that here soon. Let's see. What else? A lot of news events going on. I'm not going to dive into those this evening, although we could talk about several that are coming up. Whether it be the potential of mandates, the potential of you name it, things coming out soon. I ask me privately, I'll share my opinions on those things, but we're not going to do a lot of that again. I don't believe so. We'll see what happens here, and I'll have more news on our next episode of what's going on in world events. I'm excited. Notre Dame won its first game and dominated against Navy. Again, it's Navy, I know, but we'll get some better tests here in a few weeks when we take on Ohio State. But first, we have to play Tennessee State. It's the first time they will be facing an FCS opponent, so that should be interesting. But hopefully they can keep it rolling, get some guys more playing time, especially the young guys, and we'll see what happens. It's exciting. I enjoy the college football season, and I hope you all have a good Labor Day coming up here. It's man, I'm telling you, this last half of the year is really flying by very, very quickly, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you make the most of it. I'll be sharing some things here soon on Instagram, all those sites to encourage you this fall, and some how to take advantage of the seasons, and especially as a father, as a husband, how to take advantage of those times that you have right now. But today, I want to dive into if you click on my Instagram or any of those sites, there's a Linktree link with a lot of different options about where to follow or any of those sorts of things. And one of those things is a free resource I put together a couple years ago. It's a free little PDF for you to use. You can use it as a devotion. You can use it as a kind of just I don't know, something fun to read that doesn't take up a lot of time. It's very short, but I think you would enjoy it. It's about becoming a better man, and it lists 5 essentials that are key to that process that I think that we see as you become enter into that manhood season, as you become to be better at who you are as a man. These are the 5 essentials that I think must reign. And on the front, there's a quote from John Wayne. Of course, every man needs 2 things to live a successful life. First, he needs a moral code of right and wrong, and secondly, he must have a backbone to keep him from being swayed by those with no moral code. So, first, character. Character, and here's what I wrote. Above all else, becoming a man of high character is essential to becoming a better man. If you lack integrity, nothing else matters in your pursuit of manhood. Character means to be whole or complete. Developing a life of high character must become a way of life. Integrity should be the goal in all of our dealings. Character is king. So how do you do those things? Well, some of those ways that you can develop character in your life is to make sure your actions back up your words. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you're at a job and you say you're going to accomplish this task, do whatever it takes to accomplish that task. Don't cheat. Don't steal from others. Be known as somebody who is a truth speaker, someone who lives above the norm. Like, you're not someone who slanders, you're not someone who gossips. You live above the norm. You avoid temptations to sin. You keep your word. You are a principled man. That's what it means to be a high person of character. Second, your calling. Here's what I wrote. Your calling as a man is to pursue a life committed to becoming a better man. This will require sacrifice, selflessness, and a lot of hard work. As men, we must learn to give up the childish ways of our past and pursue those goals that make us better men. I put a quote here from the Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians. It says, "When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways." It was George Patton, a great military leader. He said, "The coward is the one who lets his fear overcome his sense of duty. Duty is the essence of manhood." Be watchful, stand firm, act like men, be strong. These are the callings that we are called to do as men. These are the things that we develop. And maybe it's just taking one simple step. Maybe it's just one hard thing you must learn to do each day. Maybe it's as simple as taking a cold shower in the morning. Some people ask, well, why did you do that? Well, there are some health benefits, but it's also something that's really, really hard to do. Like, no one really likes a cold shower, but when you force yourself to do hard things, then when it's not something that like a cold shower, maybe it's something that's much more difficult, it becomes easier when you know that you've done something hard in the past. Maybe it's passing on the the donuts or whatever at the breakfast table at work, and maybe it's you skip those things and you say, no, I don't need that today. I have a higher calling. I need to get myself healthy. I need to do what's right and be a better man than what I am being today. Third, competency. I wrote, your competency or the skills and behaviors that make you a good leader is critical to becoming a better man. Competency is important because it leads to your credibility and trustworthiness. As men, we must realize that there is always something to be working on or growing in. The pursuit of manliness never ends. Now, here's a few areas that you might focus on as you think about this concept of competency. Focus on your ability to lead. Focus on your ability to communicate with others. And I think that's a huge one. We have entered a social media era where we almost, my wife and I were talking about this the other day, the things that we used to just write on Facebook walls or through text messages or whatever social media app you have, we are now, it seems like, talking and living that way as well. Like things that you would never say to somebody in person, but you hide and write it on Facebook. Like people are starting to say those things in person. And for some reason, not a lot of people are getting smacked in the face for it. However, as we develop and learn to communicate better, we will stand above the rest. We will rise above the rest. And that's the way we lead as we do so. Here's a few more. Your ability to develop others, your ability to get results, your ability to persevere in the midst of adversity. When things bad are happening around you, when things are not going well at work or there's problems or whatever it may be, what is your level of ability to see through those things, to get through those things, or to find solutions or answers to get through those things? And those are things that don't just come naturally. It's not just things that we just happen to have or don't have. It's things that we must develop. Again, your strengths are good. Maximize your strengths. However, the things that you're not good at, maybe it's communication. Work on becoming a better communicator. Maybe that's you have to force yourself to go into the gas station instead of just paying at the pump. Or maybe it's you go in and use the restroom and you force yourself to have to interact with individuals so you learn to communicate better. Or maybe you find somebody who does communicate well and you go and talk to them about it and they can give you some tips and you ask questions. But we must become more competent as men. We must continue to keep learning. We have never arrived. We must keep pursuing to become more competent men. Fourth, communication. Here's what I wrote. Developing good communication skills is essential to becoming a better man. People communicate verbally and non-verbally with those they interact with on a daily basis. As a man, your communication influences those around you. Whether you realize it or not, most people have a desire to imitate someone else. This is a prime opportunity for you to influence others by developing clear and authoritative communication skills. Things to avoid, all right, when it comes to communication: gossip, slander, flattery, criticism that's not constructive, lack of eye contact. That's a huge one these days. Like, it's hard to find someone who will look and maintain eye contact with you as you speak to them. That is especially young listeners, that is a huge thing that will make you stand out amongst the rest. That is a huge thing that will help your chances of landing a better job or standing out in a group setting or just taking that leadership role. Ronald Reagan, he said, live simply, love generously, care deeply, speak kindly, and leave the rest to God. So what are some specific ways you can develop better communication? First, be honest. Speaking the truth is the easiest thing you can do. Be someone who is known as a true speaker. Deal with today's problems today. Don't let things just linger. Deal with the problem at hand. Attack problems, not people. Oftentimes, two people are going to headbutt, but often, if they work together, they can find a solution to the problem, whatever it may be. Be a problem solver and be solution oriented. Find solutions to those problems so that they won't become problems, hopefully, in the future. Then last, be quick to listen. We would be wise to listen a lot more before we speak. Good leaders are good listeners. People who have a high sense of character, integrity, all these things I've been talking about so far are people who are known as good listeners. Develop being a good listener. And then last, fifth, have courage. Men are diminished by being passive and weak. Men are forged by being courageous. Which men come to mind when you think of the all-time greatest in our history? More than likely, most of these men had the courage to make hard decisions. They were probably tough, level-headed, willing to take risk, willing to be criticized, and willing to trust that their decisions would produce the best results. These were the men we read about in history and are the role models for us today. God did not create men to be weak, but to be courageous. 3 areas to show courage. Body, become stronger. Become a better physical specimen. Be better at taking care of your body and who you are. Mind, develop new skills. Take care of your mind. Stay sharp. Be selfless. Be willing to put in the work to develop your mind and put it to good work. And then last, your soul. Commit to becoming the man that God wants you to be. JFK, he said, don't pray for easy lives. Pray to be stronger men. No one is going to make you become a better man. Even the greatest men in history weren't forced to become the men they became, but they became that because they showed these 5 areas and they took them and embraced them. And they weren't perfect, but they embraced them and wanted to be better. Winston Churchill, he said, a man does what he must. In spite of personal consequences, in spite of obstacles and dangers and pressures. And that is the basis of all human morality. Becoming a better man. Embrace these steps. Take it, download this, do what you want with it, spread it, pass it out, share it online, do whatever. But my goal in doing this is just to encourage you. Become the man that God wants you to be. Become a better man than you were yesterday. That's the goal, right? It's not that we have to look 10 years down the road. We can, but just focus on becoming a better version of who you are today than what you were yesterday. Pursue the goal. Keep going. Persevere. Whatever is thrown at you, whatever adversity is thrown your way, keep pressing forward. And know, please, there is a brotherhood out here. There's a community out here that will have your back. If it gets too hard or you feel like it's too much pressure, or you don't know what the next step is, feel free. Please reach out. There's tons of us that would love to interact with you, that would love to chat with you, and to encourage you to keep pressing on, to keep going. That is the goal. That is what I'm hoping to encourage you with today. And if you want to pick up this shirt or any other shirts I may have in the shop, check out the link in the description as well. I greatly appreciate that. But for now, go follow, go like, go subscribe, do all those things. Leave a review if you will. All those things help. But most of all, please share with a friend. I greatly appreciate it. So with that, go and be a better man this week.